urban legends, I think we've all heard about the snake, the person that turns into a snake and lives in Robinson's Galleria in Ortigas. And there's so many other urban legends right here in the Philippines. So today we're gonna look at the top 10 scariest urban legends from the Philippines. Are you guys ready?
Welcome back everyone, another day, another scary urban legends video. Today I'm doing a highly requested country that a lot of you guys have asked for, the Philippines. Located in Southeast Asia, this country is made up of over 7,500 islands, many of which have their own unique cultures, traditions, and of course, very scary stories. My name is Danny Burke and this is the top 10 scary Filipino urban legends.
Oh, by the way, before we start, if you know of any urban legends, why don't you leave me a comment below so we know what the other urban legends are and try to find out more about them, because this is always very exciting. Why do these exist? Who created them? Stuff like that. All right, let's go, guys.
I also have sunburn on my nose. That's what that is. All right, let's get into this. Starting off at number 10 now, we have the snakeman. For many years now, there has been a story going around Manila of a half snake, half human hybrid that stalks local malls there. The mall belongs to Robinson's Malls, which is owned by Robina Gokong Wei. People say that she had a set of twins. One of them was born normal, the other came out as a half snake, half human with an insatiable appetite for human flesh. Robina panicked about what she would do with this creature that was still her child, and so she came up with a plan. She is said to have opened up the shopping mall there so that she could hide her son in the basements and tunnels below it. According to the stories, as shoppers try clothes on inside the dressing rooms, they will be swallowed by remote-controlled floors where the snake man will be waiting to devour them below. In 2015, a video emerged online claiming to show the snake man's body. It appears to be dead. The video remains unverified though, and this strange urban legend lives on.
Oh my goodness. I wonder who came up with this weird urban legend about a snake man living inside Robinson's Galleria. I tell you, I lived near to Robinson's Galleria for a very long time. I was basically at Robinson's Galleria every single day for a very, very long time. And I never, ever met this snake. Alright? And I never heard about anybody who met it. So I don't know where this story came from. Could it be a competitor who put out this legend so nobody would visit Robinson's Galleria? Maybe. Who knows? Okay, let's go.
Next up at number 9 now, we have the elevator. There are variations of this urban legend all over the Philippines, but they often follow the same pattern. A doctor in a hospital walks into an elevator with another patient inside. As they face the doors, they see a small boy running down the hallway towards the elevator, his eyes wide and pale. The doctor quickly presses the closed door button and the boy is shut out just as he gets to the elevator. As the elevator makes its journey down to the basement, the patient turns to the doctor and says, "Why did you do that?" The little boy wanted to get on and you stopped him. The doctor just shakes their head slowly and says, "I wanted to, I really did, but he had a red wristband on."
Huh. Okay, so why would the doctor shut the door? It must have something to do with that red wristband.
We only put those on people that have died. The patient then looks down for a moment in silence and then raises their own arm up to the doctor, smiles and says, "Just like my one."
That's scary. Just like mine? God, how didn't the doctor notice that already, right? That's scary. Oh God, yeah. That's like stuff movies are made out of, right? Oh my goodness. Doctor, just like mine? Oh.
Smiles and says, "Just like my one." At number 8 now, we have Mount Banah. This is a well-known and sacred mountain in the Philippines, but with all the respect it receives, it also has its fair share of scary stories. Perhaps the most famous one involves the disappearing hikers. Locals say they go up the mountain and never return. No trace of them is ever found. They say this is actually a landing site for alien spaceships, and those aliens have been abducting the hikers for years.
Really? So what he's trying to say here is that they believe that aliens will land at this mountain and then abduct and kidnap hikers on the mountain? Sounds very unlikely, but who knows? There's so many strange things going on.
These visitations have been witnessed by hundreds of people, including a TV crew who filmed it. One story involves some hikers spending the night on the slopes of the mountain. One of them woke up and decided to sleep outside of the tent as it would be more comfortable for them. Then there was a blinding light and the hiker woke up. It was the next morning and they were on top of an entirely different mountain, miles away. They eventually reunited with the other hikers and said they had no explanation for how they ended up so far away, except that they had been abducted by aliens.
Okay, you don't think you just wandered around in the middle of the night, maybe got a little bit drunk, Could be. Then ended up on another mountain, forgot about it. Well, we don't know. Could be. Maybe not. Maybe it's really an alien.
To number 7 now, we have the My Way killings. In the early 2000s, a fear gripped people across the Philippines. A particular song seemed to be killing people. My Way by Frank Sinatra.
Oh, I love that
song. It was a
song.
popular karaoke choice at the time, but became infamous for a number of deaths related to it. In 2007, for example, a 29-year-old man singing at a bar in San Mateo, Rizal, was shot dead as he sang the song at karaoke by the bar's security guard. Why? Because the guard thought the man's rendition was out of tune, and when the victim refused to stop singing, the guard pulled out his pistol and shot him dead. This became a fairly common story, with at least 10 documented cases between 2002 and 2012. People began to associate singing the song with being killed. In 2007, the song was actually taken off karaoke machines in many bars in Manila. Even people who were skeptical before will choose to avoid this song for fear of invoking the curse. Next.
What? Really? That song? I think it doesn't matter because I've heard lots of stories of people being shot at karaoke bars simply because they can't sing. Or even in their homes, because right now people can put a karaoke set in their own home, sing in their own home, right? And then if you sing out of tune, you better not have a angry neighbor living next to you.
At number 6 now, we have the Headless Priest. This legend goes back hundreds of years, kept alive by just how grisly and gruesome it is. During the Filipino Revolution and World War II, many Filipino priests were beheaded by soldiers. As many of you are probably aware, a common theme with ghosts is that they cannot find rest until they have found the peace which they could not in life. These headless priests, that peace can only be found when they are reunited with their heads. Many people claim to have seen their ghosts prowling graveyards at night, searching for their heads, or perhaps even more scarily, carrying them under their arms, looking for a way to reattach them. They cannot speak, but they will still approach you if they see you, in the hopes that you can reattach their head and send them to the afterlife.
Yikes, that's a scary one. I mean, just imagine meeting a headless priest in the middle of the night searching for his head, and then he wants you to reattach it. Grabe talaga, that sounds scary. Now that is definitely a priest I don't want to meet. And I tell you, I met a lot of priests, but I never met one that was headless.
Moving on to number 5 now, we have the Devil's Mountain. We talked about Mount Banah earlier. If that's the good and sacred mountain, then this might be the polar opposite. Its name is Mount Cristobal, and it has gathered a reputation for being the home of many evil creatures, perhaps even the devil himself. There have been a number of cases of hikers going missing along the dark and dense trails there. Officials put it down to poor choices or inexperience, but many locals disagree. They say that supernatural beings have been attacking people as they tried to climb the mountain. Naturally, this puts a lot of people off, but some relish the idea of this. It's a common belief that if you can get through the dense forest and fight off these supernatural creatures, you can reach the top and challenge the devil himself.
Really?
People, though, simply feeling the ominous presence as they approach the mountain is more than enough for them. Next up.
Wow. So the devil actually lives on the mountain? Wow. I don't think so. But anyhow, it's a great story. So don't you think it's more because people get lost maybe in the wilderness, they might fall down a ravine or something, there's so many things that can happen to you when you climb a mountain,
Number 4 now, we have the Bloody Bridge. The San Juanico Bridge is said to be the longest bridge in the Philippines, but for many people in the area, that's not why it's well known. It connects the sister islands of Samar and Leyte. It was built as
That's Samar and Leyte, no?
a gift from Ferdinand Marcos, former president of the Philippines, to his wife Imelda, who was a native of Leyte. He left her in charge of the building. During its construction, locals began to notice a number of children were disappearing from both Samar and Leyte. Then, when the bridge was complete, the children just stopped vanishing. How were the two connected?
Yes.
Well, this is the gruesome part. Some people say the foundations of the bridge were made stronger by mixing in the blood of babies and street children using an ancient ritual used to strengthen structures. Some even say the bodies of the children were added to the cement mixer by the construction workers while preparing the cement. Amazingly, there are even more gory versions of the story out there. The only thing they have in common is that this bridge may not have been made in the normal way.
Okay, now sorry, I think we can easily disclaim this one. Why would you be adding a human body to cement? Doesn't make sense at all. Doesn't make it stronger or anything. So that definitely I do not believe, okay?
Moving on to number 3 now, we have the Romblon Triangle. You guys may have heard of the Bermuda Triangle before. Well, this is kind of the Filipino equivalent. Over the years, this area has seen many ships disappear under mysterious circumstances. If they manage to not disappear, many ships have gone down in tragic circumstances. Since 1980, a number of passenger ships have sunk, some of which with thousands of passengers on board. Then there is the legend of the ghost ship. The ship was owned by Lolo Amang in life and now haunts the waters. It's said to be made of gold and glimmers in the night. On April 22nd, 1980, the Don Juan passenger ship crashed into an oil tanker with 1,000 people on board. It quickly sank. Survivors said that just before the crash, they saw the ghost ship approaching them. There seemed to be some sort of party on board as it glimmered in the night. The captain of the Don Juan tried to swerve out of the way to avoid the ghost ship and ended up crashing into the oil tanker, which ultimately sank them. Officials say the strange occurrences are nothing more than bad weather or bad luck. But locals say that far too many stories have come from the triangle for it to be just bad weather.
Really? So what do you guys think? Is that really just bad weather? Is it, because of the natural occurrences? Or do you really think there's more to it? Is it really the Bermuda Triangle of the Philippines?
Next up, number 2 now, we have the White Lady of Balete Drive. This one comes from...
Okay, the White Lady and the balete trees, that is something that I keep hearing about all the time, especially when I've been down at the Rojas Boulevard, at the Manila Bay, and there's some beautiful balete trees down there. Absolutely amazing, but I always hear people talking about the White Ladies, and of course that was one of the very first legends I heard about when I got here in the Philippines.
Quezon City, where locals believe one street is haunted above all others, all thanks to the White Lady. She is said to be a harbinger of death, a revenge ghost that wants the living to feel the fear and terror that she felt before she died. She's been seen since the 1950s, appearing and then vanishing along that road, even materializing inside people's cars as they drive. The stories tend to go the same way. A driver will be going down the road when they see a beautiful woman standing by the side looking for a lift. They pick her up, but after a while of talking, they look in their rear view mirror to see that her face is twisted, torn, bruised and oozing with blood. Locals have learnt to not pick up hitchhikers on that road and to certainly never look in the rear view mirror. Several taxi drivers have been said to crash in that area from the shock of seeing the White Lady. Many say this is what she wants, to cause the pain and suffering which led to her own death on that dark and creepy road. And finally, number 1 now, we have Maria Labeau. This is the name of a famous woman in some parts of the Philippines. They say she was a vampire. In life, she was a caring mother and wife who wanted to give the best life to her family. One day, she signed up as an overseas Filipino worker and moved to Canada to care for sick people. One of the patients there was dying from an unknown disease. Later on, before his dying breath, the patient leant in and bit Maria, passing on his vampiric powers to her. She accepted the power without knowing the price that she would have to pay. Maria returned to the Philippines, where her hunger for human blood began to grow. She could contain it no longer and eventually killed and cooked her own 2 sons. After that, she became an aswang, a Filipino folklore creature that feasts on humans. Her husband...
Oh my God, so it's like an OFW that moved to Canada to care for a sick older man, and then she got bitten by him and turned into a vampire. Now the sad part is, if this is true, that she actually killed and cooked her own kids. Now that is really sad. That is just beyond belief that anybody can do that.
Returned home to find what she had done and flew into a rage. He attacked her and slashed her face with a bolo knife. She managed to escape though, and now locals say that if you ever see her lurking in the shadows, you'll know it's her from the huge scar across her face. And then it's up to you to start running.
Wow, I think the scariest one was really the last one with the OFW who turned into a vampire and ultimately into an aswang. Which is really scary, and I hope that it's not a true story. I hope it is just an urban legend and nothing else. The most famous one that I know about, of course, is the snakeman at Robinson's Galleria, which I do not believe in. So how many of you guys believe in these urban legends? And do you know of other urban legends? Because there seems to be so many of them. It's also because we got a big country, we got lots of people, and we got the wilderness, so there is a lot of possibilities for so many stories here in the Philippines. So leave me a comment below and tell me what other kind of urban legends that you know about. All right, as always, stay safe, stay home, take care, bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to click that subscribe button and of course the bell button so you'll be notified when we have new videos for you.